Hey everybody, Ruben here, the Blue Pepper. Today I'm going to be doing a project and I'm going to be making my own tortilla press. The reason why I'm doing this is because lately the prices of food have been going up, as everybody has recognized. And tortillas now here in my area where I live are almost $5 a pack, which is absolutely freaking ridiculous. So I'm going back to my Mexican roots and making my own, but I'd like to have a press. I went and I priced a press at the local Mexican store here in town. They wanted 25 bucks. And it was just a wood press, a very simple wood press. So I looked at it, took some pictures of it, and said, shoot, I can make one of those myself. So today I'm going to be showing you how I'm making my tortilla press. So let's get a rundown on all the materials. Alright, so what you're going to need to start off with, I'm making a large one. So I've got two pieces of 2x10 pieces. This piece is cut into 9.5 inches, and the bottom piece is cut into 10.5 inches. Oh, excuse me, 10 inches, not 10.5. You're going to need a piece of a foot long piece of 2x2, 5 inches of 2x4, and about 2 inches of 2x3/8. Your hardware basically is going to be a 4-inch bolt with a nut and two, I think these are 2.5-inch wood screws. That's it for your materials. Oh, and a set of hinges. I almost forgot. These are 3-inch hinges with screws. So let's get to how we're going to assemble this thing. So first things first, you're going to take your two pieces of 2x10 and you're going to make sure that there's at least a 1/2 inch gap. That's your clearance right there. This 1/2 inch gap is your clearance for your handle. Your hinges are going to go on the back side here, connecting these two together. Your 5-inch piece of 2x4 is going to go down here on the bottom. This is going to hold onto your handle. And of course the 2x2, which is going to become your handle, is going to be put into this cutout section of 2x4, and it's going to be fastened with the bolt and nut. You want to measure distance, the width of the 2x4 on here, make a line, and then you want to find the exact center. The reason why you're going to do that is this is where you're going to drill your hole where your bolt and nut's going to go through. Second thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find the exact center of this piece of 2x4, and then when you do that, you want to square center this piece of 2x2. So when you cut out a 2-inch section here, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I've got pencil markings and that part marked with an X that's going to be cut out. The hinging from the handle is going to go right in there, so when you use it and it's attached to that, that's where you press down on. So let me do all the woodworking and then I'll show you how that looks and I'll come back to you. Alright, so let me show you what I've done so far. I've taken that 5-inch piece of 2x4 and I've cut that center section out. So my 2x2 now fits in there. This is going to be where my handle is going to be at, and this is going to be its axle. So what I did was, first, before cutting the section out, I drilled a hole all the way through, which is the exact same size as the bolt. I wanted to make sure everything fit really tight, because after, you know, usage and wear and tear, it's going to wear out. And so after that, I drilled the center hole through the 2x2, and as you see, when I put them together, this is going to be your handle. After I did that, what I did was I drilled 3 pilot holes first. In here, this is going to mount onto the bottom board. And then after I drilled the pilot holes, I drilled in some sinking holes. So when you put in the screws, wood screws in, the wood screws go in further into the bottom piece of wood other than this piece of wood. So as you can see, basically the head will sink into that when you drill it in. Then of course I got the center of this here where the 2x4 is going to be, and then that's where I'm going to tack this bottom piece in. That's going to be where your handle's at. Then I'm going to square these up, one on top of the other. And when you're doing that, you want to make sure that they're level. Here you want to make sure it's completely as flat as can be. If it's not, when you put them together, if it's not flat and you've got some play into it, use a sander or sandpaper. Get that little bit of difference out so it'll be completely flat. So when you're making your tortillas, your center is not thinner than the rest of your tortillas. So that's what I've got to do on this one here. I've got to sand it down a little bit, take off that hump that's in the center, put my hinges on, connect this part on, and then finally put in the last little piece of 2 by, what did I say? I forgot. Before I connect these 2 pieces together, right here with the hinges, I'm going to stick in a really thin piece of cardboard. I got this from my case of beer, and that gives me just a little bit of space, so when you're opening and closing this, it has some clearance. So if you keep it completely flat and you're opening and close it, there's a chance of these corners, you know, right here, rubbing up against each other, and you're not going to get the full, you know, ability to open up this thing. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to come back and show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okay folks, after a little bit of trial and error and some finessing, this is my final product. So as you can see, I profiled the handle a little bit just for better grip, because I'm not going to be the only one making tortillas. My girls are. There's my hinge attached. I had a problem with the gap when I used that little piece of cardboard, so I recommend not using that, so you can get these completely flat together. The hinge works fantastic. When you open this up to I sanded the inside here to get that big bulge out, so now it's completely flat on the inside, so my tortillas are going to be nice and flat. Turn it this way, you can see this way. Kind of sanded it a little bit on the handle. I'm going to do it for the rest of this here, take off some of the rough edges on that part. Can't really see the screws, but they're sunk in there pretty good. So I got a pretty tight press. So there it is, my own tortilla press. So I'm just gonna take some fine grit sandpaper and just go over the corners and the edges here, make them nice and pretty. But there you go, my very first and only tortilla press. Thanks for watching.